All right. Well, let's dive into this thing. I know P Dog's got some opening remarks for us here.
Heck yeah. Well, for anybody listening from the outside, um, Elevate, I mean, we as a community, we had 28 guys sign up and run, attempt to run, most of us, a 96-hour fast, 4 days, no food, just water and electrolytes. So we're just going to dive in here to why we did it, takeaways, how it went, etc. So, I mean, gents, I'll just start us off here. Why I did it personally. I know it's going to be a little different for each of us, but obviously Matt challenged us in the general chat one day, and it's just hard to say no to that. When the calendar rises, you don't want to look soft. So I signed up for that reason, but also for the spiritual benefits as well, leaning into God more. The health benefits, of course, leaning down a little bit, getting that metabolism up. And then also just for the growth overall, anytime you put yourself in those situations, in those hard moments, like you're bound to grow and learn about yourself and just so much room for growth there. So that's why I did it. Matt, you want to share why you did it?
Why I brought this challenge, this 4 days no food challenge to the community and peer pressure you guys into it.
Yep.
I mean, for me, it was one of those things of wanting to get in the trenches with you guys 100%. And another thing is, we were talking a lot about separation season, about taking actions that separate our new identity from our past identity, from the man that we're trying to build and become. And, during the holiday season, like what better way to do that, to combat that complacency and that gluttony, to have to lean into a spiritual discipline of not eating for 4 days. Like there was nothing better than that in my mind. So that's why I tossed it out in the chat. Got some of you sissies on board. I remember Andrew Walker, he was like, he's like, I think I'm in for 3 days. I don't know about 4. And I was like, what's it going to take to get you in for 4? And he's like, all right, I'm in. I think he ended up stopping at the 3-day mark, if I remember right, maybe even less, around the 60-some-hour mark. But I thought it was funny just kind of talking some of you guys into it. But Justin, my man, share your unique. You started a week after, kind of ran this thing on your own. You didn't have anyone holding you. No one was going to be like, oh, Justin, you didn't do the fast, bro, or anything like that. So I thought it was just really cool that you stepped up as an individual. But what made you do that?
So I got laid off obviously at the end of the year, in case you guys didn't see that. So didn't see that coming, and it was right before Christmas, and I had a struggle there for a week, and it was right at the beginning of the fast. So I immediately went out to lunch with my wife, and we had a couple of cocktails and tried to figure out what we're gonna do basically. And then from there, I kind of soaked about it for a few days. I was having some beers and just kind of being lazy and just was like feeling bad about myself and everything else. And I decided that once Christmas was gone, I was like, what, I have to at least try, to do this, because if I don't prove it to myself, then, I'll end up regretting it way more than just not eating for a few days. You know what I mean? So I ended up kind of using this as an opportunity to dry up a little bit, because I do kind of yo-yo a little bit when it comes to booze, depending on football and holidays and hanging out with the boys and all that kind of stuff. I do struggle with that a little bit. So I use that as a nice kind of a jumping off point to kind of flush the system and go from there, which was stupid, because I was basically drying out as I was doing this fast. So like, the first, day or so, I feel great. And then like day 2, day 3, that withdrawal started to kind of creep in, and that was the end of that. I feel great now though.
Man, so what I think we should, when we're going around with this, we should probably just share what mark we stopped at. I know we're going to go through the experience, but what hour mark did you get to?
It was the morning of day 3. So what, 60, it was like 60 hours or something like that. I could look it up. But it was basically that morning I got up and felt like a train hit me after not sleeping again for the second day. And I was like, all right, I'm out. Like, that bone broth in the fridge was calling my name, and I just couldn't do it anymore.
Man, let's go, dude.
Yeah.
Proud of you,
Longest
bro.
I've ever gone without eating, for sure. My metabolism's been pretty cranked my whole life. So had I done this like 10 years ago, I would have passed away. I mean, I would have never made it. There's no way.
Yeah,
Man.
Justin, I got to give you props, man, because you went in alone and you didn't even have to do it. There was no one with you. When I saw you in that chat, I was like, wow. And that last line that you wrote, you were like, "I'll promise you, I'll be ready for that call." And I was like, "Yeah, let's go, man."
Yeah, absolutely. I had to at least give it a shot for sure. And I'll definitely do it again someday when I'm a little more, kind of ready in shape wise, that just to prove that I can do it for sure.
Yep.
Dude, that message you sent, it was like a scene from a movie. I swear, when I read that, I was like, oh my God, it's fucked up. It's crazy. You just came out
That's
of
awesome.
nowhere.
Yeah.
Who would have thought a bunch of guys that get so jacked about another guy not eating for a few days,
Right.
Like, this crazy bastard's doing it, like it was pretty cool. But I it was your guys' encouragement in that chat, because I was still tracking everybody and watching some of the kind of the ups and downs of it and stuff. So it kept my fire running. So when the time came, I was ready to go because of you guys, honestly.
Man, yeah.
Man.
Yeah.
So
And guys,
thanks.
I just want to mention that week was one of the hardest weeks probably out of the year to fast. With all the holiday things going on, my job alone, they had breakfast every day for us. People were bringing in cookies. They had a lunch catered. Just a regular week is hard to do it, but the week before Christmas, that's like an extra level. So just committing to doing this fast, no matter how far anyone got, just committing to doing it took mental fortitude just to convince your mind to say, I'm doing this during this week. And I think Matt had a good idea to start the fast on the weekend, because he was thinking ahead and realizing that it's going to be tougher at work to complete the last days of this. But I just want to say that the week that you picked was a real doozy.
Good thing we got it on the calendar again for 2024, same week.
It was that damn Ed Milet podcast. Got them all fired up.
Oh yeah, bro. But man, Alex, tell us, bro, what made you jump in on this, dude, besides the peer pressure?
I mean, that was really it. I had no other reason to want to do this damn challenge. I knew because I have a direct message from Matt Moore, like, bro, you gotta hop in this challenge with me. And if I did, I was gonna get called soft. So I was like, all right, I'm not gonna get called sissy. I'm gonna hop in this. And then like once I actually went through it, like then you're like, this is like a really good challenge because you get to see all the spiritual benefits. Like I feel like I connected with God a lot during this, just because I was like,
yeah,
God help me. Like I want to eat this food. Like he said, I'm getting gifts from all my clients, getting cookies. It's like sitting in my room, like. It was a real challenge, but you learn a lot about like yourself and your triggers. I was like, I really want to eat right now. Why? Yeah, you're hungry, right? Like you're hungry, but then there's time you're extra hungry, and then that's when you find out it was because it's because I'm really bored right now, or I'm stressing out over something. And then during the fast, we really rely on food to get us through different situations, like in life. But definitely, like I had no other reason to do it. I'm grateful I did, but it's just peer pressure from you guys. But I think that's what this community is about, anyways. It's just pushing people to get outside their comfort zone, relying on one another. Because during out the entire challenge, I was like, if I quit right now, no one's really going to care. But then I have 8 other guys in the group chat posting about what they're feeling and pushing each other and encouraging one another. And I was really appreciative of that, because I was going to stop at 36, 48, and then eventually stopped at 72. But I would not have gone that long if it wasn't for the group chat and people. It was really like people posting other gifts they got from other people, and they weren't eating it. Like what was it? Like someone went to Whataburger or whatever. And he didn't even eat it while he went there. I was like, wow, all right, I can keep going. If he can stop there, I can keep going.
Let's go, dude. It's huge. Keith, my man, what made you jump in, bro?
Well, the longest I ever fasted was 24 hours. And when I saw the announcement, I was like, I'm definitely going for this. Fasting's been on my mind for a while, and especially the longer fast. I don't know exactly what passage it is, but Jesus speaks about fasting, and he says, when you fast, do not go around looking like this and looking all mopey and stuff like that. So he says when you fast. He doesn't say if you fast. He says when you fast. So he's almost commanding us to fast, and he's expecting us to fast. So that's another one of the reasons. Spiritual clarity was a reason. Mental fortitude. There's so many reasons, but definitely the community and spiritual reasons was my driving force behind it.
Love that, dude. That's huge, man. Fasting is just such a prevalent thing in the Bible.
Yeah,
it's crazy to see. Nick, you handsome lad. Glad you decided to turn that camera on, brother.
Man, I'm packing up all my stuff. It's kind of
moving down to Florida, huh?
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
Aside from the gut health benefits, I'm just kidding. We'll let you riff on the gut health benefits if you want. But what made you jump in on this, dude?
Nah, yeah. If you guys want to listen to the gut health benefits, I did a call on this like 2 weeks ago. Recordings in the Discord. But anyway, yeah, I definitely did this for the gut health benefits. I was just like, well, Matt threw the challenge out there. I was like, man, I did want to do a 4-day fast at some point soon, so might as well do it. But what intrigued me about it was leading into God more and leading into faith, leading into prayer, and leading into just more time, I guess, alone, removing dopamine stimulus, because food is one of those outlets for me. When I need dopamine, food is an outlet. And usually it's something nutritious, but like still, I use it as a tool for that way. It's kind of a bad thing sometimes. So once I removed that, I realized like, oh, I'm bored as shit. I need to figure out something to do. I need to keep myself occupied. I need to get into the word. I need to get into prayer. I need to kind of just do the inner work that I've been avoiding. And that's really easy to do during the holidays. I find that super easy, just to lollygag and do all this, random crap when you were with family and stuff, just kind of getting off your normal routine. I noticed that. So I'm actually glad Matt put this fast right there a week before Christmas, because although I still enjoy Christmas and I ate, sweets and I ate all the food, whatever, for family, it allowed me to kind of take a step back and reflect on what I normally do during the holidays. I did better, I guess, than I did in the past, kind of thing. And it reminded me a lot. I said this to Matt, I think. It reminded me a lot of the 12-hour walk. If you guys did any those challenges where it was just like no stimulus, no phone, no nothing, just like you alone with your thoughts. And having no food for 4 days felt just like a longer stretched version of that in a way. Like I still had my phone. I still had work I was doing and just stuff throughout the day. But I still noticed, even when like I was looking for a dopamine hit, the phone wasn't doing it as much anymore. And I realized that for some reason, like the food not being there meant like the phone was not doing as well. And I had to do a lot more, get into my thoughts deeper for sure.
Absolutely. I love what you're saying. It's almost like when we're turning to food, we're not turning to be physically fed. As we all realize, if you can go 3-4 days without eating, you don't need the physical nourishment. It's like after we just got done eating, 2 hours later, we're just bored looking for a snack. It's like we're not needing anything physically. We're just needing something, some sort of dopamine, some sort of mental pleasure, if you will, or some sort of distraction. So it's just crazy. Really makes you recalibrate your lens for why you're eating your meals. I know we're going to dive into just more takeaways and everything as we carry on, but I think first thing that we really wanted to dive into was just, what did you guys get from this just spiritually? I know, Keith, with you talking about the walk of faith really being the reason you took this on, I'd love to have you kind of lead the way with this one of just, where did you feel spiritual gains in this 96-hour fast?
Oh, yeah, sure. So I felt so much closer to God. He just gave me a mental clarity going throughout the whole fast, especially after the first 24 hours. I was having conversations with him like I've never had before. Vivid dreams also. So, you know, I very rarely remember my dreams, and I had a super vivid dream the second night. It was actually about gambling, and he kind of showed me. And I'm not like a huge gambler, but I do gamble. And he showed me like, all right, this has to stop. So that was like a spiritual thing that happened during the fast, and you know, just grew closer to him, praying more to get through the food cravings. So that's my main spiritual takeaways. I'd have to say out of the fast.
Love that, brother. I think a point that really just stuck out to me when you said that about gambling, this really just hit me. When we were talking about presence and hearing from God, this is actually in an Elevate call, every single person said something in relation to connecting to God, like some activity. It was when they were fully present, hikes in nature, training, like jujitsu, like doing physical stuff, like actions that require you to be fully present was how they best heard from God. So with what you're saying, it's almost like food, being that dopamine hit can take us out of the present.
Yeah.
We're seeking a distraction. We're seeking to come out of our present thoughts even. So when you said that, man, that just kind of convicted me of just like, wow, food can even take us away from God. So that's really cool, dude. I appreciate you sharing that. Anybody else want to go in? I don't think we need to round robin names here. I'll just open the floor, man.
I know, dude, by my like second day for sure, that the moment when you look into your cupboards and in your fridge and you see all the food that you have, it gave me a lot of perspective as to obviously the blessings and the abundance of how much food I had, where I was like, man, I am just like, I have so much I didn't realize that I did until I couldn't have it. So it gave me a lot of like, man, I got way more food than like a very serious amount of the population of the world, and I can't eat it right now. And this is the first time that I've given a shit about that, because like now, you know what I mean? Like, cause it just blows right by you. You don't think about it. So it gave me so much of like, thank you for that. Like just that alone was huge for me. Just having a more of an appreciation for food, not just for my own nourishment, for that I have it was nice.
Yeah, and Justin, let me just make a comment on that. So the week before that, you were laid off, and then during the fast, you were like, "Wow, look at how much food I have." So God is showing you through the storm that look what you have, even though you were laid off. So that just stuck out in my. But that's amazing.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely, man.
Anybody else? Spiritual gains?
I definitely like what those two guys just said. I just felt like I had so much more time than I realized I had. And I realized how much time food takes away. And in that time, I'll just try to fill it in with like prayer or in the word, and it allowed me to just connect and talk to God a lot more. And it made like my vision of what I want to do a lot more clear now that I had that extra time with him.
So much time.
Yeah.
Almost too much time. Nah, dude. It's kind of weird. Like, I didn't pray a ton more than I normally do when I was doing it, but I said I spent time alone with my thoughts, but I realized like when I was trying to fill that gap with something to do, it was usually when I was driving around. I would like go for a drive and go just like run an errand just to keep myself occupied if I had nothing to do. And I would either sit there in silence and just think, pray, whatever, or I'd listen to just Brandon Lake worship music. Like that's all I would listen to the entire fast. I didn't listen to any other music. Maybe I listened to like a podcast, but that's all I listened to. And I felt a way deeper connection. I've actually just felt that lately overall when I'm listening to worship music, especially in the mornings, like absolutely killer.
It's huge, dude. P-Dog?
Yeah. I can relate to Marsh big time on that. Before we move on, anytime that I felt any big hunger pains come along, I would just fill that time with prayer and worship music, and then similar to you, Nick, I just kept worship on most of the time. Just didn't even want to fill my brain with those temptations. It was like that was my armor right there. But moving on, I'm curious as to kind of y'all's experience throughout the timeline, just the 24, 48, 72, and the 96-hour mark for the ones who made it to those time links, of course. Justin, you want to start us off with that one?
Yeah, can you guys still hear me okay? My computer's kind of freaking out a little bit.
Gotcha.
Good, bro.
Yeah, still good. I don't know. For me, that first 24 hours, I become superhuman. Like that, by the end of that, kind of that stretch right around like kind of mid-afternoon to dinner time on 24 hours, I have so much energy and could literally jump over the house. Like it was crazy. So that easy enough. Going to bed that night was a little weird because your brain's like, hey, you didn't eat. There's like that thought in the back of your head. But outside of that, the first day is amazing. I wish I could feel like that all the time, But day two, I found myself struggling to focus when I had to cook lunch for my kids, and when I had to do dinner with the kids and stuff like that. So I had to keep making food in front of myself and then handing it out type of thing. So that was a little much. And on top of all of that, it was I think the stress for the kids, because it was after dinner time, it's like screaming and yelling and bath time and all this stuff, and it was just like there was so much going on that I didn't have really a chance to think about how hungry I was. But it was way more stressful, like 1,000 times more stressful than usual. So there was a little bit of give and take. By the like I said, that third day, that next morning, I was pretty well gassed. I could tell my body had enough for sure. But I was drying out a little bit from maybe having a couple too many pops the week before. So I might not be the greatest example for that, but yeah, that was my experience.
Heck yeah, brother. Brian, I'm curious to hear your journey.
I'd say around the 36 to 48-hour mark was probably the hardest for me, because the first 24 hours, I literally only drank water from my Brita, and that was it. And then you put me on the Propels, and I bought like a huge pack of that, started drinking those. But like that 36-hour mark to 48, I was probably the most hungry I was, the most time I wanted to quit. I mean, but then once you get used to that feeling, started chugging the shit out of those Propels, I was like, okay, I can do this like for however long I wanted. I felt like the biggest thing I was losing was sleep. I found it very difficult to sleep. And kind of like how Justin just said, I couldn't focus very well. I just didn't feel like my full like self once I hit that mark.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
that completely. Those Propels were a game changer, dude. I drank
Yes.
like 3 packs.
Yes, bro.
Yeah.
They were a cheat code, weren't they? There's a little bit of something in there, right? Like
It felt like
Yeah.
No
Cheers.
calories.
0 cal sweetener, boys. That'll do it for you.
it said
Maybe
0
still.
calories on the bottle.
maybe I could have made it 96,
Yeah. I feel like anybody can make it 96 with some propels. Come on.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Discount or pass.
Hey, Matt, let's try the propels. Maybe we can go a week.
Yeah, dude. That's what I'm titling this. I'm titling this episode. I'm gonna say the Propel Boys.
Hey, Matt, you not have any electrolytes?
What's up?
What'd you say, Kim?
Matt, did you do it with 0 electrolytes?
No, I did it with electrolytes. I did electrolytes and salt. Yeah.
Yep. And I was just wondering.
Yeah.
That might as well be a dry fast then. There's no
Yeah.
electrolytes.
Crazy.
That's basically what Alex did. No electrolytes,
first
nothing,
day.
bro. No wonder you were struggling, man.
Yeah, bro. That's why I was like, when I had that first sip, I was like, this is amazing.
Right?
Sheesh, man.
Yeah, I'll share some of my how my fast went. So the first 24 hours was amazing. Mental focus, clarity, awesome. The second day was the hardest for me. I had some hunger cravings, got through them with worship, with prayer. Also, I spent a decent amount of time out in the sun on my breaks. I would just go out in the sun and stand there 5-10 minutes at a time. Felt like it recharged me a little. The third day got a little better because mentally I was able to psych myself out and tell myself, all right, tomorrow it's over. Even though it's tomorrow at 6 o'clock at night, I was just able to see the light at the end of the tunnel. So the second day was the hardest for me. Third day got a little easier. Fourth day, I broke it at 90 hours with bone broth. So, you know, I guess you could say I didn't go the full 96. But yeah, that's basically the day, you know, how my days panned out.
Yeah, let's go.
Man.
What did y'all?
Yeah, I'll share as well.
Yeah, yeah,
All right.
ahead.
Yeah, this was my first time doing a 4-day fast, even though I fasted quite a bit. Hunger wasn't that bad, honestly. I mean, it was okay first day. It was probably the worst day 2, 2.5, and then it leveled off from there. What got really bad was like on late day 2, day 3, where my head was just pounding, man. Every time I was dehydrated, I felt it in my head. I felt like my head was spinning, heart rate was elevated. Sleep kind of sucked the last day. The first couple of days, it was good. I had the right strategy and like protocol in place, and it was beautiful. But the last day, rough. So I woke up and my heart rate felt like it was 100. I was like, holy shit, or holy crap. I know that Matt's girl had the same issue. There's a similar issue there. So I was thinking about that in the back of my head that morning or the day before too. But I got my electrolytes in me, got the hydration in, and took care of itself. I think I broke the fast at like 94, 95 with bone broth, and then I ate lunch like an hour later. So a little early, but like I had stuff to do in the afternoon, so I just had to eat.
Yeah.
Or I would have to wait until nighttime. And I'm like, I ain't going an extra 8 if I don't have to, boys. I'm sorry. But yeah, it was good.
I really felt like if I would have just slept more, like that would have made such a difference for me. The sleep stuff was what killed me, is that I just couldn't get like a straight 8. It was like toss and turn all night long. And I feel like that took such a toll on me, like mentally, to the point where, you know, like you said, it wasn't so much the hunger. It was just like the crazies in my head. And like, you start to get kind of worked up. That I feel like that's what killed me most of all, really.
Yeah. It's literally just cortisol spiking.
Yeah.
It definitely felt like it. That's for sure.
Yeah.
My night 2, I got 10 straight hours, man. I was
You
floating.
lucky bastard.
Night 3 was rough though. I woke up like 2 or 3 times, and for me that's a lot. Like I don't ever wake up. I sleep like a freaking rock through the night. So, but night 3 I definitely experienced that. But I'll share mine because I liked what Nick said earlier about referencing the 12-hour walk, because there was a lot of mental parallels here, no doubt about it. Day 1 was kind of like first 2 hours of the 12-hour walk. You know, mind's kind of racing. It's like, what the hell did I just get myself into? Oh my God, I'm not about to eat for 4 days. Like, oh my God, other people are eating. When's this thing going to end? How are these guys feeling? Like, am I even going to survive? Like, what, you know, like you just have all these thoughts just like hitting you. And if anybody's done the 12-hour walk, like those first 2 hours, you have like just the smallest but fastest line of thinking, like just stupid thoughts just flooding your mind of just like, oh, this person's doing this in my life. You know, this is happening on social media, or I got to do this small task, this small task, this small task. Like kind of like all these tabs you have open in your life. It's kind of how like the first 2 hours hits you at the 12-hour walk. And it seemed to be, you know, what the 24-hour fast brought about for me. And then again, I mean, day 2, very similar to the 12-hour walk, kind of hitting the second phase of that. It's like still a lot of those thoughts, but it's slowed way down, but you're still kind of getting hit with thoughts. They're just a little bit deeper than they were, you know, not as minuscule of tasks, a little bit deeper stuff coming, deeper thoughts, but your mind's still kind of flowing, not necessarily racing, but it's still moving. And I felt just again, day 3, like the mind just kept slowing down. It seemed as the body wasn't getting nourished, it really slowed the mind down and forced me to like I think Justin, you had mentioned even like recognizing the food in your cabinet that you have been so blessed with and never had to worry about your next meal getting put on the table, man. Like I'm sure coming off of getting laid off, that was probably a perfect time to open those cabinets and be like, man, like what am I so worried about? And so for me, like day 3 and day 4, like as my body wasn't getting fed, as that dopamine wasn't happening, the Band-Aids weren't happening, the distractions weren't happening, my mind was really being forced to slow down, be intentional, and just notice the little things, be grateful for the little things. And I think it was so intentional around the energy that I was exhausting. When you haven't eaten for 3-4 days, you're not letting the little things really work you up because you cannot afford to. Like you can't. So you're so intentional about the energy, about planning around like what you're going to do, when you're going to do it, who you're going to do it with, like how you're even going to communicate. So I just felt myself being a lot more aware of my actions, my thoughts, very similar to the 12-hour walk. Things just got a lot more intentional, a lot deeper, and a lot more gratitude as this thing progressed over that 4-day stretch. But in terms of just like, the hunger and whatnot, first 24 hours, jumping over the house, like Justin said, man, feeling good, locked in. And I kind of felt that way at spurts after that. Like there would be good spurts where I'd feel like electrolytes had hit. I'd feel hydrated, maybe some black coffee, feel really good. But it kind of just like the spurts got less and less. Like I would feel good for 4 hours. And then like, okay, now I feel foggy for 4 hours. And then as I got closer to the 90-hour mark, then it was like, okay, I'm feeling good for like an hour, and then I'm foggy, and I have to go out, get in the sun, get hydrated, like do all my stuff again to try to feel good again.
Yeah.
So from like the mental, I guess, standpoint, that's kind of how it went for me too. Is like the duration in which I felt good just kept getting, shorter as this thing scaled. But really that's my takeaway. Ton of good fruit from this. Gratitude being my biggest one, man. Just getting to step outside, just moving out to Colorado. I'm a Midwest boy. Never got to experience the mountains my whole life. So moving out here in the last month and just stepping outside and seeing these just immaculate creations from God, just not eating for 3 days, that was filling, man.
Love it, bro.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Would have to do the little things to get you back into the mood to survive the rest of the day.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think I'd have to check that chat. Justin, I think you would have hit the 96 if you were in with the squad, man. I know you're a big energy guy, like feeding off everybody's energy. Like I really think you could have tapped into the team and pushed through maybe a little bit further.
After 75 hard, I'm probably going to do it again, because then I'll think I'll be at like peak physical form where I'll be a little bit more kind of mentally prepared for it. So hopefully I'm going to try it again at some point, because the looks I got from people when I told them I wasn't eating for 4 days was worth it just in itself. You know what I mean? Like 4 days, dude, Jesus, what are you doing?
Matt, I think we spoke a little about this, but we were talking about maybe making it like a semi-annual thing. So it'll be a twice a year thing.
Yeah, I mean, we're definitely doing it around Christmas time. We'll see if we hit it again sometime in the summer or something.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'm in, man. I'm thinking about stretching this thing past the 96-hour mark.
Oh,
So
word.
we'll do the full 7 days.
See what we got.
I saw there's a doctor that did like a TED talk or something recently that keeps popping up in like my social media, because obviously once you start clicking on fasting stuff, it starts just bombarding you with it.
Yeah.
And he said that at any point in your life, if you do a 7-day fast, your risk of getting cancer in your life is diminished by some like ridiculous number, like 75% or something like that, just from doing it was the most outrageous number I've ever heard. And then, of course, like they hit you with like the bullet points and stuff, but for not eating for 7 days, apparently that's like the magic number. Anything after that, you're just a nutcase.
I wonder what Marsh, you may know. I don't know if anybody knows, but like where's the point where it's just like, like diminishing returns or like physical, like, oh shit, like you're saying, you're just an idiot. You're not healthy past that point. Like what is that hour mark? Like Or is
Yeah,
it completely
I don't
subjective,
know.
I guess?
I don't know if it's clear cut. It's definitely nuanced and debated. My buddy Rami, who he did a fast a couple weeks before we did. He did 4 days actually. I think, or maybe he did like 4.5. He said 3 is the sweet spot, like based on what he found, like based on the research and stuff. I've seen people say 4, I've seen people say 2, I've seen people say 7, like Justin said. So I really don't know what the best answer is. I feel like it just comes down to like what works best for you. I will say this. If I didn't do the 4-day fast with you guys and I was just fasting, I would have stopped at day 3. That was the spot where I felt like I would have broken it. It would have been perfect. Like it was, what was it, Wednesday night? Or Wednesday afternoon or something like that. Yeah. Because the last time I ate was on Sunday around lunchtime. It was Wednesday afternoon. I was just with my mom. And I'm like, Mom, I have never craved a steak more in my life than right now. And I really want to break this fast, but I can't. I can't. She had one thawing out. I was like, damn it, I want to eat this. But I did it because we were doing obviously the challenge. But I knew like in the future for when I do it fast, like I know that moment now. I know I never felt that before, but now I did because I got to the point where I think I got all the benefit I needed. After that, honestly, the fast kind of sucked, but I just stuck it with you guys. And the other thing is, if we did a 3-day fast, I would have got 3 days. If we did 4-day fast, I did 4. I've never even done 4. I didn't think I could do 4. But because you guys challenged me to do it, challenged all of us, I think that's why a lot of us did it. If we did a 5-day, I would have done 5. I know I would have. It's just, I know I've done all these challenges with you guys at this point, so I just know I can do it because I'm rallying with you guys. It's inevitable. You simply cannot fail when you have 20 other dudes doing it with you.
Let's go.
Man, heck yeah, dude. It's like that Goggins, man.
Goggins,
Y'all ain't ready
bro.
for the 2024
Dude.
Goggins 4x4x48,
We're doing another one?
man. Heck yeah, we are.
The calendar. Get ready.
Every year, we're doing 75 hard, Goggins, and fasts. 12
Man.
hour walks.
Well,
Okay.
Nick, you kind of gave us a taste of it here, but I think, the moment everyone listening to this is probably waiting for, like, how the heck did we break this thing? I think that's the question everybody's asking. Nick, start us off, dude. Sounds like we know your answer, man.
Yeah. It was Thursday, late morning, close to lunchtime, maybe like 10 or 11. I was like, I need some bone broth. Like, I need something other than this damn water. I'm tired of drinking just water. I got some bone broth, put some butter and some salt in there. Oof, delicious, fantastic. And then I went for a walk out in the sun. I think it was pretty sunny that day, which was nice. And then I came back and I'm like, all right, time for eggs. So cooked up 6 over easy eggs in the cast iron. Just absolutely smashed those. Those were great. And then about an hour or two after that, actually, I might have had banana at the same time too. I think I had a banana with the eggs. And then an hour or two later, I made a steak. I was like, I need a steak. I need it now. And it was the third thing I ate. But I ate bone broth, eggs, steak, and like a bunch of different fruit all within 2 hours. And I was still hungry afterward. But because I spaced it all out and I was just kind of refeeding, I was like, this is just, I'm not like breaking any rules. I'm just listening to my body. And like, that's what my body craved when I broke the fast. So I just went with it. And I already know that about myself. So you might not know that if you're new to fasting, but you kind of just trial and error and find what works for you.
Love it, dude. Justin, how did you break that thing, bro?
First, it was tears of joy. I mean, right away. Like, have you ever in your life been so happy to eat? Like, ever? Like, I was giddy, dude. Like, I got up that morning. I was like, I'm doing it. I don't care. And, like, just getting prepared. Like, I didn't know about bone broth until you guys brought it up a ton. That stuff is amazing. And I have, like, 5 jars of it now. I drink it every morning now. Like, that stuff is awesome. Like, I am all in. So, yeah, I did that. Like a good sized mug, probably, a large coffee mug of that, and 3 eggs, and then an avocado. I did those 3 things, and then I just kind of hung back on those and waited until my stomach felt like it was, kind of good. It did gurgle quite a bit, like after that. Like I had like a little time, within that first hour of eating that I had the bubble guts really bad, and then once that stopped, it was kind of like what's left over in here. There was like some Christmas ham. There was like, some of this, some of that. So it was mostly just the meats that I had left over in the fridge and a little bit of noodles. I think there was like a thing of Chinese food in there, but I didn't eat that. But I had like the noodle bit of it, not like the greasy crap, but like the little box of the plain noodles. So
dude, you
that
saved yourself by avoiding that Chinese food, man. That's never a good idea. Not even on a fast.
Knock down a Szechuan, plate or something. No, not that. Just the boring noodles part.
Man, Bron, you didn't break it with Chinese food, did you, bro?
No.
I saw that plate. I was like, oh, is he at a China buffet right now or something, man?
So it's called BD's Mongolian Grill. So the entire time on the fast, I made a list on my notes app on all the foods that sounded amazing to me. So whenever I was hungry in the future, I knew exactly where I was going. So that was at the top of my list. And then as soon as I was close to my point, I knew I was going to break it around the 72 mark. I said, I don't give a fuck if this upsets my stomach. This is what I want. I was like, I know I'm supposed to do bone broth, ease into it. I was like, I don't give a shit. I'm eating this. So I drove myself to a decently nice restaurant by myself, sat there, ate it, enjoyed myself.
Attaboy.
Treated
What?
yourself, huh, man?
I mean, it's just
That's
like
awesome.
a massive bowl full of steak and chicken. You have the people cook it, put it over some fried rice.
Nice, bro.
Yeah, buddy.
Keith, I know you've kind of alluded to it already, but how'd you officially break this thing, dude?
Yeah, so at the 90-hour mark, I had a nice cup of bone broth. Let that sit for a couple hours. I had some nuts after that. Let those digest. I bought a salad, put a very, very little bit of salad dressing on it. Ate a really big salad. And then after that, got home and had a steak. So
Nice, man. What
that was
cut?
the 90-hour mark for me was around noon. So that was my bone broth. Then I just kind of got my digestive tract going, and then steak for dinner.
What cut of steak and how do you like it cooked?
So a strip steak, I've been liking them more on the rarer side. But I usually tend to go medium rare, so that's what I try and do. But as I get older, I like them more rare. But
Man.
yeah, medium rare.
Good answer.
Dude, he says on the rare side. I see a lot of nods. I see Justin getting nervous over there, though.
Nah, dude, that ain't my game, bro. We just had rack of lamb 2 days ago. You eat that stuff basically with the fur still on it, and I was like, nope,
Yeah.
that was a hard pass. I had to like cut it off and put it in the pan and like cook it up a little bit longer. I can't eat meat like that, man.
Still got to be
My-
mooing, right, Matt?
No, my
Oh,
wife
yeah.
will do straight up Pittsburgh blue. Like, give me like 60 seconds aside, slap it on the plate, cold center, like the whole deal.
Wow.
She's a savage, dude. I can't I can't do that.
Oh.
That was so funny, man. Everybody's nodding when he said rare. I look up at you, bro, and you're like,
Like, nope.
he's scratching
Nope.
head. He's nervous.
Medium at my very lowest is medium for sure. Anything below that, and that's a no go.
Oh man, that's funny, bro. Andrew, what's up, dude?
What's up, bro?
You're muted if you're trying to talk, dog.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we
We
got
got
you.
you.
Yeah.
I said I got caught up trying to drink this water for today, so I'm late.
Thanks.
I just finished. Yeah.
Dude, that's how
Let's
much I have
go.
left. So
Man, well, bro, we are just talking about the most important thing of this fast is how we broke it. But man, let's just let you run through the whole thing real quick, bro. Kind of get caught up to speed. Like, talk to us about 24 through whatever hour mark you stopped at. What was your experience like?
yeah, so I went into it like I was like kind of iffy if I'm gonna finish it out. Like I was definitely trying to hit the 3 at least. Like I was like, if I hit the 3, like the 72 hours, I'll be very proud. And then first day, I was like, okay, this is cool. I had a lot of energy, and then I was like hitting the gym. I was like doing cardio like normal. I was like, I'll stop when I like feel tired. And then the second day rolled around, and I'm like, okay, this is getting pretty serious. I was getting cravings. I was like, if anything food related like came up, I'm like starving. And then to the end of the second day, where like I went downstairs to like hang out with family and stuff, and like drinking tea and eating snacks and stuff. And I was like, I just can't hang out with you guys right now. I was like, I need some space to like anything food related does in front of me was making it pretty hard. But the second day is when I felt like the sharpest. I was like mentally the clearest. I was like in the gym. I was like ready to go. I had the most energy. I was just just sharp, like just ready to work, ready to do everything. I wasn't lazy. I was just like ready to go, like at all times. And then the third day, I stopped at 68 hours, so like almost 3 days, but not really. And then I started the day off really energetic, really ready to go. And then towards the end, I was just like, my heart was like beating weird, and my mom said it looked like I saw a ghost. So I was just like, I decided to call it right there because I was just like not ready to finish it out.
Man, how'd you break this thing? What food you eat?
So I had a soup. My mom made me a soup to it was like a chicken soup. Just like ease everything into it, and then like an hour later, I devoured a cheesesteak. I was just like, I can't. That's cheesesteak.
buddy.
Yeah, I was like, I need a cheesesteak. I can't wait. I was like, I
Just
missed
2,200 calories straight to the dome. Like,
Yeah,
bro.
of
I was
dairy.
Just ready. I was just like ready.
Dairy and processed sugar straight to the dome.
No,
I love
it was a
To the dome.
cheesesteak, not
Need a lift?
cheesecake. It was a
Oh,
cheesesteak.
cheese
oh, I
steak.
thought you said
Yeah.
I heard cheesecake too.
No, just a cheesesteak. So
Okay.
Oh, all right.
Okay. That's
Yeah.
not
Makes a lot
bad.
more sense.
I was
Makes
like,
a lot more sense.
yeah, I was just like, I've never been more excited, like eating food, just like feeling the blood just like go through my body again. I was just like, I'm ready. But no, it was good, bro. I felt like so sharp, like those 3 days. I was just like so mentally there. Like there was no like sometimes I would have like anxiety or like any like negative thoughts and stuff. It was just non-existent. I was just like locked in, like so present in the moment. It's just like
Amen.
felt so sharp. Like it was like weird. I was like, I've never felt this way before. It was like crazy.
Yeah, bro.
That's awesome.
Yeah. It was like I was like, I'm like, this is what it feels like to just like be mentally like clear, just like
Sick.
focused. Yeah. It was great.
That's awesome, dude. P-Dog, how'd you break this thing, bro?
I took a pretty similar route to you, Matt. I don't think you've covered yours yet. I broke mine a couple hours before the 96-hour mark with some bone broth to get my stomach prepped, and then did like 1 or 2 hours before I actually ate a meal. The 96-hour mark I did as fruit smoothie based out of kefir. Don't know if it was a great move because it had a lot of dairy in it, but nevertheless, had the smoothie and then finally broke it with the infamous steak and eggs meal with a nice little roll on the side. It hit the freaking spot, man. and then like 3 hours later, went and had some buffalo chicken pasta with that. Got some carbs in my body, and then my blood sugar spiked, and I just started craving more carbs, dude. So I devoured like 6 or 7 chocolate chip cookies that night. Won't lie to you. They came fresh off the pan, bro, and I just started eating, man.
Dude, for like 2 days
man.
after, I was just eating. Like I was just like anything in front of me that I was craving. I was like, oh, it'd be.
Dude, I will
Absolutely.
say, just like you, Peyton, that carbs after that taste like they were handed down from Jesus himself.
Oh,
Like my wife had a
Yes,
big
bro.
thing of sourdough, bro, and I crushed like half that like later on that night. I don't know
Heavens.
why. Like it's like the weirdest thing. Everything else was kind of the same, but whatever curries and carbs were it.
Yeah.
It's got to be that like the sugar high, right? It's got to be the insulin bit, and then you get like a little dopamine hit from it, like you said.
Bro, I got a dopamine wave. I was just sitting on the couch. Just
Just flying,
like,
listening to Pink Floyd in the dark, like just
Yeah.
having a full transcendence, like
for
loaf
sure,
of bread in one hand.
That's right.
Man, I'll share how I broke this thing. Alex, funny you say that you kind of took a list, bro, because I was, like I said, I just moved out here to Colorado not too long ago. So I was driving to the gym and I started noticing all these restaurants I had never seen before, man. I was like, just like in awe of all these restaurants. I was like, there's so much opportunity here, dude. But I broke it. I mean, very similar to Peyton. Bone broth, and then went to a fruit smoothie. And then right at the 96-hour mark, had my first meal, and it was chili based in bone broth. So the base of the chili was bone broth. So that was incredible. Felt great on the gut. But I will say, ever since that day of drinking that smoothie, it was homemade smoothie, just threw in some fruit, banana, what have you, some protein powder. I've been making a smoothie every day since. I'm just craving those smoothies, man. They're so good. But I did feel incredible after drinking that smoothie, just getting that sugar in, feeling like I don't know, like the Hulk for some reason, like I was just back. But what I thought was so unique, and I want to hear your guys' perspective on, was, like I was so ready to eat. And I think we've all kind of shared that, right? Like Justin, you definitely said that. Alex had a list of meals that he was ready to eat. Like we were all kind of looking around and we're like so ready to eat. Like, when's that meal? What's that meal going to be? And then, I mean, now here we are, 2 weeks later, a week or so later, and it's like we're back to normal. I think I was even talking to Peyton, and I was like, man, I right after that meal that I ate at the 96-hour mark, it was just right back to normal. Like I didn't miss food. I didn't like crave food. I wasn't like appreciative for food. Like it was just right back to my default state with food. And I thought that was just so crazy. How can you take something away for 4 days, focus on it for 4 days, think about it for 4 days, and then you get that meal and it's just like right back to normal. Food's just now, just a thing that we count on in our lives. I don't know if everyone's shared that same experience, but would love just, whoever wants to throw in on a take there.
Dude, I constantly taste test everything that I make for the boys. That was kind of a big struggle of not eating. So it's like as I'm, making spaghetti or whatever, I always like, you're licking your thumb or you're grabbing a noodle to make sure it's cooked right or whatever. And after we started eating again, every single time I went to do that, my brain stops me now for like a split second of like, hey, don't eat it. Just like a quick shot of like, stop doing that. So like I've completely stopped like picking at little food bits, I don't know why, but like it did change the thought process around like just eating for no reason. Like that whole, it's like automatic eating that stuff. And now it's not like it did. It changed me a little bit in that, I'm not super strict about it, but it does come up now, from time to time.
It's cool, dude.
Yeah, to piggyback off that, I think I used to get like super hungry like towards this time of the night where I would just like, whether I'm coming from the gym or I'm coming from like pickup or something, I would always just like look for a snack or look for some sort of food during this time of the day, especially. Like I was fine, like even during the fast, I was fine in the morning. It really hit me hard like during this time because that's when I usually would eat. And I gotta say, like after the fast, I'm like, it's like my brain was like, well, we're not really hungry. We're just bored. Like that's like the biggest thing. It's like we're not really like I'll be fine if I don't eat until tomorrow.
Yeah.
And like I'll just like have some water and then like I even noticed this like before the fast is like if I don't eat after like 8 or 9 o'clock and I wake up the next day, I do whether it's cardio or go to the gym, I'm just like so much in a better mental space, but my workouts are also like much better. Like just like throughout the day, my mood is better. Like my body feels better. I'm not as foggy if I don't eat as late. Like my gut even feels like just better overall.
Nice.
So that's like the biggest thing I got.
With me, when I'm at work and I say I go to make coffee, the fridge is in the room where I make the coffee. And me, I'm like a huge snacker, but I eat mostly good whole food, but I'm a huge snacker throughout the day. So now when I go to make a coffee, my brain says, oh, do you really need this snack right now? Or, you could just wait till lunch or, you could wait till dinner. So I find myself second guessing if I really need this snack because I went damn near 4 days without eating. So
Me too.
yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was alluding to as well, is that my brain's starting to stop me from
Yeah.
eating. Like there's a quick pause there, you know?
Man, that's what separation season's all about right there, right?
For sure.
Let's
Absolutely.
go. That's huge.
The
Ever
other-
since I listened to that podcast, it's just like in my head,
Ed
like, in my
Milet thing?
brain. Yeah, it's just
Yeah.
I'm like, I gotta do one more set now. Like I can't. I was like, it's not gonna sit right.
So one thing I had written down and I did not want to forget. One, by the way, also I'm a massive gum chewer. So that was like I chew gum all day long. So that like 5 calories, not having that chewing sensation, that also killed me. Like, cause I took all that out as well. So just before that, but also from being laid off, I watched a lot of TV for like a week, and it is amazing how marketing works in terms of television. So that first from like 9 in the morning until like 2 o'clock in the afternoon, it's like life insurance commercials because all the old people are at home, and it's like old people drugs, old people problems, colonial pen, all that kind of stuff, right?
Wow.
And then it'll shift, and then that shift like in the mid afternoon to like around dinner is nothing but food. It's like Grubhub, all this like delivery, all that stuff. They hit you with that stuff for like 3-4 hours, and then from like after dinner until basically like midnight, it is nothing but food and drug commercials. Like that is literally it. It's like every single commercial is a BK commercial, dude. Like I got so sick of that damn jingle
How they get you.
by the end of it, but like because I was so hyper focused on it, I was like, is every commercial gonna be food? Like why? And then you realize like this is why we're the fattest country in the world, and well, one of the fattest countries in the world, because like everything we get bombarded with all the time is like medications and food,
Yep.
like that is literally it. It was so frustrating.
Man, you got tired of BK.
Oh, dude, you rule. Yeah. Oh,
You
Lord.
rule.
Whopper. No,
Oh, that one, dude. I could seriously dump out a window. Like by that like second night, I had enough of the Whopper commercial, man.
Man, I got a unique question for you guys though, because obviously, at some point we're gonna run this back in 2024. Like in running this back, like how do you guys think you would approach it differently? Is there anything you do differently? Any actions you take differently? Would you plan different? Like, what would you do different doing this again?
I'm drinking.
The biggest thing
Propel's
for
Day
me.
one.
Yeah, I forgot.
I'm drinking Propel's Day 1.
Propel boys, baby.
Propel boys.
We got to get you a hashtag for the next one. Yeah.
Yeah, change his member ID to the Propel Boys on Facebook.
Bet.
I think for me, it would be not to start my fast at 8 p.m.
Told you, dude. Right as you dropped that in there, I was like, "Oh, good luck, bro."
Yeah, I was like, I realized it like in the second day. I was like, oh, I messed up. I was like, this is bad.
Yeah, for me, I would think about starting it on the weekend also. That way I'm not battling all the temptations through work. And I would try to prep better at least 1 or 2 days before the fast. Just drink a lot of water, get some electrolytes in. I really didn't do that this time. So I think that would help for my next fast.
I wouldn't tell anyone that's not doing a fast that I'm fasting, because I feel like as soon as I said I was fasting, everyone just kept talking about food and like how they love food and like how crazy I was. And I was like, maybe I am a little crazy. And then, I have this community where I'm like, well, maybe we're all crazy. I don't know. Right. But I
We
feel
are.
like telling people actually
Yeah.
made it, like telling people in the chat with people doing it with me, it made it better. But like anyone that was outside of it, like it made it
Yeah.
worse.
Yeah, it's kind of hard not to tell anyone, especially at work, because they're used to you eating with them. So, I felt like eventually they were going to catch on. So I just I didn't make it a mission to tell people, but I did tell a select few that I really normally eat with at work. So, yeah.
I find it also helpful, like not telling a lot of people made it just easier for me. Like I didn't have to like really be talking about it. Like I obviously told my family and one of my friends that I know was going to support me. But other than that, I was just like rocking it. Also, a side note, I'm not a fan of black coffee. Like that's all I drank when I was on my fast. Bro, I love coffee, and that almost ruined it for me. Like that first cup of coffee back from the fast, I was like, I took this thing for granted. I was like, I'm very appreciative for coffee, like regular coffee.
Yeah, man.
Man.
I would throttle down on the calories like ahead of time, like slowly but surely start to like cut out things, eat more whole foods. I'd probably try to stay away from like starches and carbs because I feel like those like shots, where like that's where I was missing my energy because I'm kind of a bread guy. It's because my wife bakes a lot of sourdough and stuff like that. So I think if I would have just kind of slowly kind of throttled down on some of that stuff and then did the fast, it would have been way easier than running all the way to the end and just cutting it all off. Like that was a mistake. Big time.
Yeah. Especially you jumping in like right after Christmas too.
Yeah, dude. I was like eating and drinking like crazy for like 2 days, just having wine and eating all this food. I was like, no, don't matter. I'm fasting in like 2 days. It's all good. Like, I'm going to drop all this weight. No problem. It's going to be easy. No, it was like a cliff, like on second day, man. That was a mistake.
Yeah, I think better preparation, like that whole week leading up to it, I definitely could have prepared better. And maybe I shouldn't have eaten like 5 slices of pizza to end my, to start my fast. So I think like just better prepping my body in general.
Yeah.
Could really help.
Curious, did anybody track weights during this? I really wish I took before and afters, but I didn't do body weights. If you did, like what I know, I dropped a significant amount of weight. I was like 182 after this fast, and I usually sit like 192. So, but curious, anybody have numbers there?
Yep.
Yeah.
Just under 5 pounds. I lost 4 straight off the top.
Wow.
Like it was like nothing. By like day 2, I had already lost damn near that whole 4 pounds. It was crazy.
I took a before and after, but I was also tracking like all my numbers. Hold on, I can pull it up. I know I dropped like 3 or 4% body fat. And 5 pounds as well.
Wow.
I dropped 3% body fat. And 5 pounds.
I dropped 8 pounds.
Wow.
I was probably like 6 or 8. I don't remember.
Dude, I'm in the same boat. I dropped like 8 to 10. I
Yep.
was fluctuating from 205 to 206, and final day that morning I was at like 195.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Man.
Lean bean.
I went from 155 to 144.
You gotta get some size on that frame, brother.
Wow, that was my goal, and you're like, "Hey, let's run a 4-day fast." I'm like, "Oh, great, thanks, man."
You gotta talk to Jake and Austin, man. Those are
That
your
refeed's about to
guys.
go crazy, bro.
I think I'm in the same boat because I saw the scale dropping and I was like, I don't really want to like drop crazy amounts of weight. So that's also a factor that kind of messed with my head.
It's mostly water weight that you're going to lose during this fast anyway.
Yeah, but
You're not going to
I
lose
felt
anything
shredded.
significant, really.
Right.
I was like, I feel like so just like lean, just like cleaned out.
Yeah.
Definitely.
All right, gents. The last question to close this thing out. I know we kind of went over the hour mark here, but to wrap this thing up, I know when Peyton and I recorded this kind of a duo podcast talking about this, we were really grateful, to have the community to lean on in that chat. That was fire. And Justin, I apologize, man, but I mean it's on you totally, bro. But just running it as a team, and I think like even seeing guys, like we set the mark at 96, right? And even if guys fell short, it was like those are longer fasts than I would have ever even imagined of doing, falling short at the 60, 72 hour mark. But just curious from that perspective, how that kind of relates to you guys personally, like running this as a community and having that bar kind of set. I know we kind of touched on it earlier a little bit.
I thought it was very interesting because I remember like when I first saw you put it in the chat, I was literally talking to one of my friends like that morning. I was like, I think like I'm just like thinking about going like a 3-day fast because prior to that I had seen a video about this guy like put it up on YouTube, and he done like a 72-hour day fast, and I was like I seen the results, and I was like I kind of want to just like try it out, and then I saw you put it in the chat, and I was like, okay, now I definitely have to get it done. Like the timing on that was kind of scary. I'm like, this like I'm meant to do this. Like I have like now I have to do it. Like I was talking about it earlier, and I see it here. Like I have to do it.
Yeah,
God was working.
Dude, it was yes. That's all I thought of. I was like, this is a sign. Like I just have to at least like give it a try because I had never done anything like that long before. And then I'm glad I tried it.
yeah. And Matt, I think one of the first days you announced it, we might have been on a call together, a Bible study call or something. And I got on early. You were on early, and you were like, "Hey, are you doing the 4-day fast?" I said, "I don't know if I can make it 4 days." And you were like, "No, you're making it 4 days." So, that was just great that you did that, and that we have a community like this that we can rely on. The chat was fire. The chat, honestly, probably helped me more than anyone can know. And I tried to put my status updates in the chat also, but I just liked reading other people's status updates and like, oh, all right, this guy's feeling like shit. All right, I'm feeling pretty good right now. So, or vice versa. And then, if I was feeling like shit and someone was feeling good, I'd be like, all right, maybe I'm going to start feeling better in an hour or two. So it was just great to lean into the community. And, that's what this is all about. So, I just want to honor everyone that did this, and thankful that we have this community where we could do these things.
Amen, man.
I gotta say, boys, I was legitimately worried when I saw that announcement. 4 days. I was like, this is crazy. Like, I don't even know if I can do this. How the heck are these guys gonna be able to do it? But the fact that we're all able to elevate and rise to the occasion, it's crazy. Like, it's absolutely insane.
Amen.
Pun intended.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure. And yeah, like you said, Matt, doing it alone or whatever, it was watching you guys for the last, those few days and just kind of psyching myself up and then jumping in and telling you that I was doing it that fired me up. So it was like, I didn't do it alone, technically, because I was thinking to myself, like, flip back through, like you were saying, Keith, seeing some of those days where people are like, I'm falling apart. This is terrible. Being able to kind of relate to some of that and kind of go back through the chat and use that as motivation. Like, so in spirit, you guys were all with me, in general. And it was like, I felt like I owed it to myself, but I also kind of owed it to you guys because I said I was going to do it. So I'm like, I felt like I didn't have a choice, even though I was fighting a hangover day one, but it's all good.
Man, and here we are now, 75 hard. I love that, man. 4-day fast right before Christmas. We flip around right at the new year and it's 75 hard. Like, come on. So hopefully, I think everyone on this call is in on it, right?
Yep.
Keith?
I'm starting once I'm finished moving.
Gosh, Nick is soft. Keith, my man, what happened, dude?
Yeah, I will be completing it at one point, but right now is not the time.
All right, brother. I can respect that, man. It is
Yep.
it is a commitment, but it's something for me, even, kind of leading this thing, we'll say, like, it's been so cool to see just like the bar that is set in the standard and expectations. It's something where, when I bring an idea like this to the table, I'm just like, man, it's something I can't fail on, so that's my mentality going into the challenges like this. It's like, I got to get it done. Like, I got no other option is kind of how I feel. When we do this stuff, even, the Goggins, the fast, the 75 hard, whatnot. So I love hearing you guys kind of have that mentality as well. Super, super cool to see. But I think that's kind of all we got. Anybody want to just close this thing out in prayer? I think it'd be something powerful to do. We got the fast crew on here.
Yeah, I can close this out.
Let's do it.
Let's go.
Heavenly Father, thank you so much for giving us all of my brothers here and this whole community of Elevate, that we can not only strengthen our bodies through these challenges, but we just look to strengthen our mind also. And you tell us in your word that our body is a temple and we should treat it like a temple. And we're just honoring you, Lord, by doing that and by doing these challenges. I ask that you bless everyone and Elevate. You give us the strength of your son, that we could live with him inside of us and realize that we have the strength of Christ to complete any challenges that we put our minds to. I ask that you just give everyone going through 75 hard the strength of Jesus, and you just bless them abundantly, give them clarity, give them wisdom, give them knowledge in anything that they're lacking. And I ask all this in your son, Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen, brother.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Amen.
Amen.
All right, gents.
All right.
Appreciate all you guys jumping on and jumping in on this challenge.
Yep.
Peace and love.
Peace.
You know.
You guys.
Peace.